Good morning team, welcome back to the channel. My name is Duru. I'm a design and building consultant here in Perth, Western Australia. Today we're going to help someone with their first ever build. So they've posted online anonymously asking the public for some feedback on their floor plan. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to help them out best we can. Let's get into it. So it says, hi all, we are building our first home and we would appreciate any feedback on the design. What would you change if it was yours? This is on a 450 square meter lot and the lot will be 15 meters by 30. Thank you in advance. So looking at this floor plan, the first thing I would like to reiterate is that this isn't my floor plan. The building consultant that's working on this has a lot more information than we do. All we have is a north point. We don't know the budget, we don't know the R codes, we don't even know where the lot is. We're going to try to help as much as we can with the information that we do have, and we're simply making suggestions as they've asked for a bit of feedback. So this is a 4x2 with a theatre. We've got a kitchen and scullery. Looks like a very standard floor plan with some adjustments. So let's start by talking about the garage. First thing I would notice is that the ceiling height is 25 courses high. This is very low. So if you are going to try and fit a tall car in here, it's going to be quite difficult. I would also check the height of the pelmet at the front of the home as well, make sure that we've got clearance. So I would opt to get the internal widths and depths of this room just to make sure that your vehicles are going to fit. The overall home, it doesn't have that much storage. So if we do have a bit of budget, I would increase the depth of the garage by 500 mil here, just so we could add some storage racking on that back wall. The veranda, same issue. So we've got a ceiling height at 25. Again, it could be to do with cost, but if there is any wiggle room in the budget, I would upgrade that to 28. We don't have any perspectives, so I can't see the front side elevation. So we're only going off kind of this 2D floor plan. We've got an exit from bed 4 into the veranda, which is cool. Could become a guest bedroom. And we've also got awning windows to the front. So it's really important that if you are building your first home, you understand that awning windows on the front facade are a huge value add. Try to avoid sliding windows to the front. I don't think they look very good. So we've done well there. We've got a entry space, I'm assuming at 28 courses. This ceiling height's been depicted at 31. Again, if there is any budget, I would increase this to 31. I really like this minor passageway. Okay, we're looking onto a blank wall, so we're not looking straight down into a toilet or a door frame. So this is quite a good layout for the minor wing. The only thing that I will suggest in this space, it's all to do with the bathroom. So I think it's safe to assume that this has been requested, or it could be a cost-saving exercise to have the toilet in the bathroom. So we're not going to comment on that. What we can do to improve this space is swap where the toilet is with the vanity. That way, when the door is open or ajar, we're not looking directly onto the toilet. The next thing I would look at is this dimensions for the hobless shower. So assuming this is a standard 900 by 900 shower, increasing it to 900 by 1000 or 900 by 1100, it's not going to be a huge cost, but at least the shower recess itself is going to be a bit easier to use. And then the last thing to look at is this window. So this is just a 14 course sliding window. You're going to have that mullion running down the center. So that is the bit of support for the window running down the center. So this isn't going to be the best looking window, and it's not huge. A few options here. Option number 1, upgrade it to an awning window, which is going to make it look nicer, again, if it is in budget. Option number 2 is to make it a taller awning window. So instead of being 14 courses, we could make 18, 22, whatever it is you want to do. That is our only source of light into this space. Everything else is quite good. I don't really have anything to report on beds 2, 3, 4, laundry. All looks good. I think the consultant's done really well with this configuration, and we can move on to the family dining. So passive solar design-wise, this is the correct orientation. So well done to the consultant there. The only thing I would look at doing is I would draw in the furniture that is going to be used in this space, only because if there is a large couch or if we are going to put in a large dining table, I would want to see that drawn on paper just to make sure that it is a usable space. This is something I think that is going to be quite critical. So this is a 31 course high ceiling in here, and we've got 17 course windows to the family dining. Now, the first thing I would look at doing is upgrading them to 25 course windows as a minimum. But more importantly, we need to make sure that the head heights match the sliding door here. So again, we don't have perspectives of the sides, so we can't see exactly. But if this is 28 and these are head heights at 25, that is not going to look good. So make sure that these are matching head heights to our sliding door. Ideally, we'd have these at 25 courses high and then have the head heights at 28. And again, if you want to go one step further, these are 2410 millimeters wide, the windows. We can increase them. So we can go to up to 3010 millimeters wide if we want to really maximize the amount of light coming in. But there is nothing wrong with leaving the windows that size or that width, I should say. I'd be more concerned with increasing their height. I have a bit of an issue in my personal opinion on this sliding door. It is a 2-panel 28 course sliding door. Now, I don't know why we would have it this way. It is going to limit you if you're ever going to put a barbecue on this side. You're walking straight into the barbecue, and we've got all this additional brickwork on this side. So assuming we're not going to upgrade the sliding door, I would actually move it and center it to this alfresco just so that we've got enough brickwork for a barbecue area on this side. However, if budget allowed, I would make this a 3-panel 3610 sliding door, and that would allow us to have maximum glazing to the alfresco, so we've got more visibility to the backyard, and we're going to let in a lot more natural light. I think that's a really cheap way to upgrade the feel of this room. And again, no matter what you decide to do, make sure that our head heights are matching. The alfresco ceiling height is 28, which is the minimum that I would allow. Just keep in mind, if you are going to have this 28 course sliding door here, it is going to be the same height as your ceiling. So you won't be able to upgrade to a plasterboard ceiling, which is okay, it's fine. But if you have seen these new builds before, just understand the way that it's going to look having the ceiling butted up against the top of that sliding door. Solutions around that would be either to increase your alfresco ceiling height to 31 or do a recessed plasterboard ceiling to 31. Again, this is a costly exercise, so I can't assume that we're going to do that. With a kitchen scullery area, I would just have a look at the measurements from the bench top to this brickwork. This space does look a little bit tight, and we're going to assume that the scullery and walk-in pantry was a request. So we can't really comment because on the overall design too much, because this could be what the customer wanted. So if that's the case, no problem. I would just make sure that it is enough space to kind of move around in here. We've got our fridge opening here as well, so that could make things a little bit tight. You might opt to flip the location of this just to make sure that we're not kind of blocking the passageway. Other than that, it's fine, no problem at all. Moving on to the back of the home, we've got our theatre here. The only thing that I will say with the theatre is you want to make sure that you've got enough brickwork on one side to hide your couch. So if you've got a couch that's got a really deep side, then you're going to be walking straight into it. So this is our opportunity to offset the entry point to the theatre. And also, we could have the sliding door on the other side if that was going to benefit us, if we were limited on space and we had to have the couch on that full length. Now, this is something that you can change for free, and it's going to make the house look a lot better. And that's moving this door frame inwards. So at least we want to have it in the middle here. So it could be, 350 mil recessed in, or we can push it in all the way so that it is recessed in line with this wall. That's going to make this entryway more private to the bedroom section. And also, we don't want to have the kitchen hanging off the door frame on this side. That's not going to look very good. So just recess that in. It won't cost you anything at all. Look much, much better. And we don't really have any issue on space on this side. Coming to bed one. So the first thing you're going to notice is this dotted line running through bed one, dresser and ensuite. This is a raking bulkhead, and the reason why we have this here is because there's no eaves to this side. So this roof line is coming through the ceiling space, and it is creating the need for this raking bulkhead. It isn't the best thing to look at, but I understand that cost is sometimes the limiting factor. So what we can do to kind of mitigate this raking bulkhead, number one, is we could potentially upgrade it to a square bulkhead in bed one, so it would become a feature. You can start hanging pendant lights off of it. Number two is it's not necessary to have this 9-course window. I would actually delete that because we don't have any eaves protecting it. So if you're getting a lot of wind and rain, this is just a sliding window. It's not going to seal the best. And we've already got a window on this side. So we could potentially make this a bigger window, wider, taller, and get rid of this one. Or if you have more budget, I would just put eaves the whole way around so that we can actually keep that window and get rid of the raking bulkhead. But again, we don't know your budget. Moving into the dressing room, it's going to be the same issue. So that raking bulkhead is going to limit the amount of storage space you have above the shelving. And then in the ensuite, we've got our sliding window here. Again, it's going to be exposed to the elements, and we've got a raking bulkhead in the shower recess. So a couple of things here we can change. I would swap the freestanding bath location with the shower. This is going to allow us to do two things. One, we can now put a bigger window above the freestanding bath, which is going to let in a lot more natural light into the ensuite. And number two is we'll have the ability to upgrade that to an awning window, which if we haven't had the additional funds to increase the brickwork here and add an eave to this side, an awning window will seal better against the elements. So it is better to have that than a sliding window on this side. So those are a couple of things that we could potentially change. And the other thing that I would do is increase the width of this shower recess to at least 1,000 mil, just to make it a little bit more usable. The other dimension I would check is the depth. So the wall depth from here to here, we want to make sure that it's at least 1900. 2000 is better. Other than that, I think it works great. Overall, I quite like the design. I think it works well, and I'm sure you're going to be quite happy with it. Well done to the consultant on getting them this far. Let me know in the comment section below if there's any feedback that you would like to add. If you have a floor plan that you would like me to review, feel free to send it to me directly. Full disclaimer, if you are working with Home Group, don't send me a floor plan because I can't help you unless you're working with me directly. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.